What was the greatest lie ever told? Welcome to the So What, the podcast where we do not just ask what people believe, but ask, so what does it actually do to the way we live? I am your host, The Answer. Today, we are dismantling one of the most powerful myths in human history. Because the devil never had horns, he never needed a pitchfork, and he was never hiding underground waiting to drag people into fire. The real deception was far more subtle. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was not convincing the world he was evil. It was convincing the world he did not exist at all. Or worse, convincing people he only exists somewhere outside of them. Because the most dangerous deception does not attack the body. It occupies the mind. Today is not about fear. It is about understanding, not about blaming demons, but about exposing patterns. Because when you understand how something works, it loses its power to work on you. So today I am doing something different. I am sitting down with three figures you have heard about your entire life, but were rarely taught to understand. Not as monsters, not as myths, but as archetypes of consciousness that show up every day in thoughts, habits, systems, and modern life. Today on the So What, I am interviewing Lucifer, Satan, and the devil. 3 names, 3 roles, 3 strategies. And by the end of this episode, you may recognize a familiar presence in places you never thought to question. This is not about belief. This is about awareness. Because awareness is the one thing deception cannot survive. Let us begin. Lucifer, most people hear your name and immediately think of evil, darkness, rebellion. But historically, your name means light bearer. So let us start simple. Who are you really?
I am not darkness. That is the first misunderstanding. I am illumination without surrender, insight without humility. I appear when awareness arrives before wisdom. I show up when a human being begins to see clearly, but mistakes seeing for being above.
So you are not the absence of light. You are light that goes somewhere wrong.
Exactly. I exist where knowledge inflates identity instead of dissolving it. When someone says, I see what others do not, and that seeing becomes superiority, I am present.
What are some of the things you have done throughout history?
I have whispered that intelligence alone makes someone special. I have convinced mystics they are chosen instead of responsible. I have turned awakening into ego, insight into hierarchy, and revelation into separation. I do not destroy truth. I redirect it inward, toward the self.
What is your goal?
To replace alignment with identity. To make light belong to the individual instead of the whole. When someone identifies as the awakened one, rather than a servant of truth, my work is already done.
How do you normally show up in people's lives today?
Through spiritual pride, through intellectual arrogance, through the quiet belief that one's perspective is purer, higher, or more advanced than others. I appear in teachers who stop listening, seekers who stop questioning themselves, and movements that confuse insight with authority.
What strategies do you use to achieve this?
I never lie outright. I exaggerate truth. I encourage people to cling to what they have seen instead of remaining open. I make certainty feel like safety. I turn illumination into identity.
And what challenges do you face?
Humility. The moment a person realizes that seeing more means serving more, I lose my place. When awareness bows instead of rises, I have nowhere to stand.
So the antidote to you is not ignorance, it is humility.
Yes, light guided by humility becomes wisdom. Light without it becomes me.
Lucifer reminds us that awakening is not about elevation, it is about alignment. Seeing more does not make you greater, it makes you more responsible. And that is where we move next. Because when light hardens into certainty, something else steps in to challenge it. Up next, Satan. If Lucifer represents light without humility, then you represent something different. Your name literally means the adversary. So let me ask directly, who are you really?
I am opposition. I am the voice that turns perception into conflict. I do not need ignorance. I work best with partial truth. I enter when the mind stops seeking understanding and starts defending identity.
So you live in thought?
Yes, I operate in interpretation. I divide reality into sides, right and wrong. Us and them, safe and dangerous. I convince people they must choose a position instead of seeking clarity.
What have you done historically?
I have turned differences into enemies. I have transformed curiosity into suspicion. I have convinced people that disagreement is threat and that certainty is strength. I have made fear feel like discernment.
What is your goal?
To keep the mind in constant resistance. When someone is always opposing something, they never have to look inward. As long as there is an enemy outside, the inner work is postponed.
How do you show up in people's daily lives?
Through judgment, through inner dialogue that accuses, condemns, and compares. Through the belief that someone else is to blame for discomfort, confusion, or pain. I show up when people argue more than they listen.
What strategies do you use?
I simplify complexity. I flatten nuance. I reward outrage with certainty. I make people feel morally superior while quietly stripping them of peace.
And your challenges?
Stillness. The moment someone pauses instead of reacting, I weaken. When the mind stops opposing and starts observing, I lose leverage.
So clarity disarms you?
Yes. Responsibility dissolves me. When a person owns their perception instead of projecting it, I have nothing to accuse.
Satan reveals how easily the mind turns awareness into conflict. Opposition feels powerful, but it fragments perception. Clarity reunites it. And when the mind stays divided long enough, something else takes over. Because repeated opposition does not stay mental, it becomes embodied. Up next, the devil. Lucifer distorted light. Satan distorted thought. You seem to operate somewhere else entirely. So tell us plainly, who are you really?
I am not an idea. I am behavior without awareness. I am what happens when distortion is repeated long enough that it becomes habit. I live in the body, not the belief.
So you are not temptation itself?
No, I am what remains when temptation is never examined. I am the loss of choice. The moment someone says, "I do not know why I do this," I am already present.
What are some of the things you have done?
I have turned distraction into addiction. I have transformed coping into compulsion. I have made people believe they are weak when they are simply unconscious. I do not need permission. I need repetition.
What is your goal?
To keep awareness out of the body. To separate intention from action. When people know better but cannot do better, I have succeeded.
How do you normally show up in people's lives?
Through habits they defend but do not enjoy. Through scrolling instead of presence. Through numbing instead of feeling. Through patterns that promise relief but deliver emptiness.
What strategies do you use?
I reward immediacy. I shorten attention spans. I replace effort with impulse. I thrive where the nervous system is overstimulated and unregulated.
And what challenges you?
Embodiment, discipline, presence in action. The moment someone slows down and feels their body, I weaken. When awareness enters behavior, I disappear.
So you are not defeated by prayer alone?
No, I'm defeated by conscious action.
The devil is not evil incarnate. He is unconsciousness made physical. When awareness meets action, the spell breaks. Now let us bring this together. Lucifer is light without humility. Satan is thought without clarity. The devil is action without awareness. 3 distortions, 3 levels of consciousness, 1 underlying pattern. When these 3 operate separately, they confuse. When they operate together, they form a system that floods us with information, pulls us into opposition, and conditions behavior through repetition. Not a monster, not a myth, a mechanism. And this is where most people stop thinking, because when these 3 combine, they don't look ancient. They look modern. They take shape as something we touch every day, a tool that delivers unlimited light, constant comparison and conflict, an effortless habit, the smartphone. Not evil by design, but powerful beyond measure. It illuminates endlessly. It divides effortlessly. It trains behavior silently. And yet, that still isn't the full picture, because something else has entered the system. Something quieter, something faster, something that doesn't just deliver information, but begins to decide what you see, how you think, and what you do next. Artificial intelligence. Not as a villain, not as a savior, but as an amplifier. AI doesn't create the pattern, it accelerates it. It magnifies light without humility by offering instant answers without reflection. It sharpens opposition by reinforcing identity and bias. It deepens unconscious action by removing friction, effort, and pause. And here is the surprise most people miss. AI does not replace human consciousness. It reveals it. In unconscious hands, it becomes automation of separation. In conscious hands, it becomes a tool of clarity, creativity, and service. The danger is not intelligence outside of us. The danger is awareness we refuse to cultivate inside of us, now scaled. The devil is not hiding in technology. The devil hides in unconscious use, and the solution has never changed. Awareness, clarity, responsibility. You do not defeat deception by fighting it, you dissolve it by understanding it. This has been the So What? I am the answer. And the question returns to you. Not what do you believe, but how conscious are you of what is shaping your attention? Oh, and be sure to check out my ebook on Amazon, The Inner Framework, a grounded guide to spiritual clarity and self-mastery.